or an ankle?
Yeah, obviously if it were a defensive guy, say like Andre Cisco who had a shoulder earlier, you can harness those things and kind of keep things nice and tight, and he can still practice, right? As long as you don't bang him around and all that. Well, with the quarterback, you're handing the ball off, with that right arm. You're throwing with the right arm. You're stressing the shoulder a little bit more. So those are all things you got to be careful of. And it's really a tolerance thing, more than anything else. But you still want to be careful, every day you're out there.
When you look at this Panthers team, what stands out about them?
I'll tell you, the one thing that stands out is this team. This team plays hard. Excuse me. This team plays fast. It's a physical group. It's a 4-quarter game. Quite honestly, Coach Tabor has done a nice job of keeping everybody together, keeping everybody on the same page, and just kind of locked in week to week. Who cares about the win-loss record right now? These guys they played obviously much better last week against Green Bay, but it's a physical, fast group that they're competing every day.
What have you seen from Bryce Young this year? Obviously, it's been up and down, but just what have you seen?
I think you see improvement obviously from beginning of the year to this, to where they are now. The team around him is playing better, obviously, getting more out of the skill position guys, and they've done a nice job, with it, and he's doing, obviously, settled in, and the things that they're asking him to do. He's been good, and teams that try to rush him, he does a nice job of, getting out of it and escaping the pocket where he can either run, extend, drives with first downs or complete a pass. So you're just seeing that constant improvement that I know they want to see, throughout the year.
Doug, where do you balance the decision on your number one guy and the number two guy getting all the reps in practice and seeing how important that is? I mean, is there a point on Friday or Saturday where even if he's cleared, you still have to decide that there's more value in the reps, or is it just Trevor's number one and you put him out there?
I think you got to consider it, where we are in the season, what we have moving forward. Obviously, the biggest thing, and we've talked about this too, is you don't want to risk further injury, right? And so that's the big thing. And, if Trevor plays, we're all in on that. If CJ plays, we're all in on that. The one thing about CJ is, in Trevor's absence during the week, it's valuable that CJ's gotten all the reps and he's prepared that way. And he's ready to go, at a moment's notice. He stepped in last week and obviously did a nice job for us last week at the end of that game. But it's a tough decision, but sometimes you got to make, or I have to make those decisions based on Trevor's health and obviously where we are as a team.
Can I get a thought from you on Fred Taylor being named a finalist?
Yeah.
Your career's obviously crossed. You didn't play against him or coach against him per se, but you saw his talent. And
we were in the league about the same time, and obviously just a lot of respect for him, and obviously he's leading running back in Jags history and all of that, and just was a great player, great teammate, very explosive, and he was in a league and a division back then that had a lot of good running backs, and for him to be one of the finalists, for 24, says a lot about him as a person, obviously his character, and then what he did on the field. Very happy for him, and congratulations on being one of the finalists.
You've harped repeatedly on this team getting off the turnover train. How do you think Trevor has it's tough on a quarterback, right? Because
touches the ball.
But sometimes it's partially his fault. Sometimes it's other people that are involved in it. How do you think he's handled this rash of turnovers that have just inflicted the team lately?
I would say he's handled it extremely well. I know it bothers him, and he doesn't want to turn the ball over. And so you're right. Sometimes it's not always the quarterback, but obviously the stats and things lean towards the quarterback. So we just got to the coaches, we got to make sure that all our players, our skill players, are on the same page with our quarterback. And what Trevor sees are the same things that they're seeing. And that just comes through repetition, through practice, film study during the week. and then obviously playing in games. So some of the mistakes we made in the Tampa game were just some guys not on the same page, and so that's something that we have to look at as a staff and fix those. But at the same time, embrace the fact that, hey, this is where we are, right? And now it's up to us to get ourselves out of it and fix it.
What did you see from Cam back on the field yesterday and overall health of the offensive line?
Well, we know Walker and Ezra are both sore and banged up this time of year. Cam, it was great to get Cam out there. He brings a lot of energy and excitement out there and enthusiasm, and he did a nice job. And it appears that he's ready to go. So that was obviously a positive. And then the other two guys are, whatever happens, at least one of them, whether it's Walker or Ezra, gets a chance to kind of heal a little bit, this week, depending on the decision we make there at left guard. So it's a good time for Cam to be back, and then it's also a good time for these guys to get healthy.
I know, obviously you said, you said about Anton, having him, be available on Sunday, but obviously he's battled through a ton of various injuries during his rookie year. If you want to just speak to, how you've been impressed.
I go all the way back to training camp and really I think it was even the off season. But I know in training camp he had the shoulder issue that was going on, and back then you would have thought that, okay, this is going to bother him all year and things, but he fought through that, and now he's here at the end of the season, and he's battled through, a few more injuries, and I've been really impressed with him, how he has, handled it. He's not let it affect him, right? He's working through. He still practices every day, right? He practices through the injury, and he's been a pro about it, and rightfully so, because he's got some really good guys in the O-line room to kind of coach him up, and get him on the right track. And so I've been really impressed with him as a young player. He hasn't played this much football, in a long time, and if ever, and he still has a couple of games left, this season. So he's done a nice job taking care of himself and being available, for our team.
How do you balance the decision on the offensive line? You talked about needing continuity there. Injuries have kind of caused these shakeups. How do you balance the decision this week with continuity? You're already going to shake something up with Cam. Then you got the decision at left guard.
I think that's where every team is right now, this time of year, honestly. Everybody's battling through injury. Even some of your top teams are battling through, whether it's a loss or an injury or, something's going on. So everybody's kind of shifting and working through different things, and we're no different, obviously. And listen, it's nobody cares, Carolina doesn't care. Tennessee's not going to care, We've just got to put the best 11 on the field, offense, defense, and special teams, and go play. And it's up to the coaches to have everybody ready to go. It's up to the player to be prepared, and that's kind of where everybody is right now.
And Trayvon Walker, he's gotten at least half a sack in 5 of the last 6 games. I know you kind of said before, look, he's doing good things, and the stats just hadn't been there early on in the season. Is this a thing where late in the season, all of a sudden those sacks are starting to show up on the stat sheet?
He keeps battling. He keeps fighting, and good things begin to take shape, and he's doing a nice job of pressuring the quarterback, whether it be on a straight rush or a game, and we need him to come through this time of year. We need Josh to keep coming this time of year, and those two together can be tough to stop.
Building off the continuity piece, obviously there's 2 games left to go in the regular season. Knowing the point that you guys are in your season, do you think that you make a wholesale change to light a spark, or is this about being as, continuity and as full steam ahead and doing what you've been doing in terms of?
When you say a wholesale change, is something in mind?
I mean, if it's a lineup change, if it's schematically, anything like that.
Those are all great questions, but I look at it as things we can control. Number one, we can tackle better on defense. That's in our control. We can take care of the football better. That's in our control. pre-snap penalties. Those are things that are in our control, right? So those are, we can coach better, we can call better offense and defensive plays, put our players in better situations, all things that are within our grasp and within our control. And so, you know, there's going to be lineup changes based on injury, right, this time of year, but I don't think you have to necessarily, you know, our goals are still right in front of us, and we have to eliminate some of that stuff that I mentioned, and get back to figuring out and finding a way just to win a game. And I don't think you have to necessarily make that big spark changed in order to do that.
Okay, we have time for one more, and then I know coach has got a shot.
Are you saying that there will not be any changes with any of the starters this weekend beyond for non-injury related reasons, for performance related reasons?
I don't anticipate it's all going to be injury related, if anything, you know, this week. Yeah.
Tyson Campbell popped up on the injury report with the finger.
Yeah.
How serious is that?
He just broke the tip of his finger in the game the other day. He can still write.
Is that part of why he didn't play in the second half?
No, I mean part of it, but no. You know, in last week, and just to address Tyson, it was his first game back in a while, and wanted to progress him, obviously, in the game, kind of get his feet back underneath him. There were some things in the game with just uncharacteristic of Tyson, just from not playing, and so made the switch at halftime. You know, and this week will be different. He'll get more opportunity this week, get another full week of practice. So he's doing a good job.
The same thing with Cisco too, right?
Yeah.
I think you want to make a shout out to
Yeah, Coach Braddock at St. Augustine with Yellow Jackets, right? Yeah, high school coach of the year. I mean, this is pretty special for a high school coach to be in this category, and you know, I was once a high school coach, obviously, and know what it's like to coach a bunch of 15, 16, and 17-year-olds. But congratulations to him. I know he's one of the finalists, or is the actual coach of the year. So shout out to him and his team, and congratulations. I think they were 13-1 this past year, almost state champs. Yeah, and he gets a couple tickets to the Super Bowl. So congratulations to